Hi, welcome back to Masha Shana Yoga. I have a very special guest this morning and I want to introduce you to her. She is a teacher of Zentangle. What's that? Well, I think you could describe it as meditative art. But I'm going to let Jacki Rose explain it all to you. Good morning, Jacki.
Good morning.
Thank you for coming to the show.
You're welcome.
So tell us what it's about.
Okay, well, Zentangle, just like you said, it's a meditative art, and it's mindful drawing of structured patterns that create beautiful images. It's not about the outcome, it's about being in the moment. Where in some art classes, well, most or all art classes, you're focusing on the outcome. You might be drawing a model or a scenery or a fruit cup or a fruit bowl. But here in Zentangle, we don't focus on any outcome. We don't draw anything that's supposed to look like anything. And it's just really cool patterns. As you can see here, we've got some examples of some of the Zentangle pieces that I've done here. There's an album here. I don't know if...
So it looks like you're merging some of these patterns together. That's what's happening. You're using more than one pattern and putting them together somehow.
Exactly. And the whole thing is, it looks complicated, but it's very, very easy because it's one stroke at a time. As it says here, anything is possible, one stroke at a time. And we are not, again, focusing on the outcome. We're focusing on just being in the moment with our pen and drawing that line. So I teach you step by step what to do. So the whole idea is not, you don't have to think about anything except being in the moment and having fun.
That's so important too. In yoga, we know that being present in the moment is really what it's about because it's the only place life exists. We go over the past, we go into the future, but anything that keeps us meditative in this moment, that's what makes this such a cool piece to the yoga thing.
Exactly. As a matter of fact, in the Zentangle world, this is called yoga for the brain.
Love that. Mm-hmm. Perfect.
Yeah.
Let's
so
do it.
Why don't we have a class?
All right.
All right. So the first thing I'm going to ask all of you to do is we're going to close our eyes for a moment, just for a moment, and when we do that, I want you to let go of anything that might be on your mind, that might be bothering you. Just let go of anything and everything and just breathe in peace. Okay, you can open your eyes. And I'd like a volunteer to read what's on the card in front of you.
Relax, slow down, breathe, let go, be present, have faith, focus, have fun.
Thank you. And that is what we are focusing on while we do Zentangle. We're letting go of anything that might be bothering us, anything that we need to do, anything that might even be joyful. We're letting that go. We're just going, we're going to slow down, we're going to breathe, and we're going to just focus and have fun. So the one thing I want you to keep in mind before we start is there's no right or wrong in Zentangle. Anything goes. So I'm going to instruct you, but if your intuition says, oh, I feel like doing it this way, then go for it, because this brings out your own creativity, your own individuality. And when we're all done, we're going to put all our tiles together. These are called tiles. And we're going to see how different each one came out, but how beautiful they are. So the first thing I want you to do is just hold your tile. And this is 100% acid-free die-cut, lovely, lovely paper, created, actually it's from, I think it's called Fabricano paper, something like that, imported from Italy. And it's lovely, lovely paper. The pens are Micron 01 Sakura. You can get these at AC Moore or Michael's or art stores or Zentangle.com. In a moment I'm going to tell you about the founders, but they went to great lengths in putting together finding the right materials that are very nice, high quality, but affordable, and that where your tile and your pens will last a long time. So why don't we start? The first thing we're going to do is I want you to pick up your pencil, and on the Zentangle side, You write your name, today's date, which is the 9th, and where you are, Milford TV, Marcia Shauna's show. And if this is your first time ever tangling, which I think you all told me this is your first time, I want you to write your first tile ever. Anywhere on that tile, just write first tile ever. And we do this because if you start to tangle more often, or even if you put this away and you take it out someday, you're going to say, where did I do this? And now you won't even have to think about it. It's there. I do this on every tile. I now use a sketchbook, actually, because I tangle so much, and I always date and put where I am when I do it so I don't forget when I look back. All right, so now what I want you to do is turn over your tile to the blank side. And with your pencil, you're going to put a dot very lightly in each 4 corners of your tile, very lightly. Anything we do in pencil this part usually is going to disappear anyways. So now what we're going to do is we're going to connect those dots to create a border. And the border, we don't want to spend a lot of time on it. It doesn't have to be straight lines. It can be curvy, it can be wavy, it can curve in, curve out. Doesn't matter. It was going to disappear anyway, so just make a border very quickly, but not very, very quickly because we want to slow down, but you want to breathe when you do it. Breathe in, breathe out. Good. And now what we're going to do is we're going to create a tile, a string. And a string is when we divide the border into sections. So that now we know where we're going to tangle, so we don't have to worry about how far do we have to do this pattern for. So we're going to create sections. So we're going to do 3 sections. So what I'd like you to do is take your pencil from the left border and bring it all the way up to the right corner border. And it doesn't have to be perfect, it doesn't even have to land there, but something like that, right? From the right. And now what I'd like you to do is from the bottom right corner, make a curvy line and touch somewhere on that line that you just drew. And now we have 3 sections. And all of our strings look very different, and that's the way it's supposed to be. There's no right or wrong. So we can put down our pencils, and we're going to pick up our pens. And for you, for anybody watching, I encourage you to take out a piece of paper and a pen and follow along with us. You don't have to have these materials to tangle and relax. So the first pattern we're going to do, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to demonstrate, you can do the pattern with me, and then we're going to fill up that section with that pattern, and at that time I'm going to talk more about Zentangle, and if Marcia has any questions for me, we can go there. Okay, so the first one we're going to do is we're going to just draw, let me see which section, I think I'll pick this section. We're going to draw little spirals. So pick one section that you want. I'm picking the top left section. So if you want to do that with me, you can do that with me. And I'm going to start with a little dot and around, then I'm going to start drawing a line around that dot, and I'm going to go around that line and then around again. And I'm going to stop when I feel like it.
I can do that.
Yes. Anyone can do Zentangle.
I like that.
And then you're going to do another one. And what you want to do is touch, be able to do it close enough where they're going to touch. Now, I want you to remember, these pens do not need a lot of pressure. So, Marcia, you can lighten up a little bit. Don't press down, because what's going to happen is you might break the tip.
Okay, thank you, Jacki.
And you're also going to tense up. We're here to relax, let go. There's no right or wrong. You perfectionists out there, maybe there are some here today, you've got to turn that over, let it go. There's no perfection here. So we're going to do another dot. And doesn't matter how many rings in these little spirals. You can do big ones, little ones, combination, whatever you feel like doing. Very light touch. Remember to breathe and relax your shoulders. So now I want to tell you how Zentangle got started.
That's what I was wondering.
Yeah. The founders is Maria Thomas and Rick Roberts. Rick, they're married, second marriage for both of them. Rick was a monk for 19 years, and Maria an artist. So, of course, they put the two together because what happened was Rick comes home one day and Maria was designing a manuscript for a client, and she was just doing the same stroke over and over, and she was in a zone. And Rick could barely get her attention. She didn't even hear him come in the door and say, "What's for dinner?" So he said, "Wow, this is what monks are trying to accomplish for many years. We've got something here." So they hopped in the car and they went to the Berkshires and rented a room at a B&B, and they brainstormed all the way up there, all the whole time there and all the way back, and they felt like it was all divine coming through. So now fast forward 11 years later, actually 10 years later, about a year and a half ago, I discovered Zentangle. I took a class. Within the first 5 minutes of taking the class, I knew I wanted to be certified. So I go home and I go on the website of Zentangle.com, and I said, and all of their certification classes were filled for the rest of the year, and there was no wait list. So I called them up and I said, "Come on, really? No wait list? Your wait list is full too? I have to wait 6 months before I can even know if there's another seminar?" I said, when we want something, we want it now,
Yes,
right?
we
Just
do.
like you said, your son cut his own hair because he couldn't wait for you to get back from Nova
That's
Scotia to
right.
take for it. So right, we want it now. So I decided to find another class. And I went on meetup.com. So for anyone who doesn't know what meetup.com is, it's a wonderful place to find your special interests and group people to do things with. I found a Zentangle meetup, and there was one happening that following week. I went to it. There were 2 other CZTs, certified Zentangle teachers there. I started picking their brains. I said, "Is it worth it?" Da, da, da. They said, "Yes." I said, "I want to do this. I wish I could be certified. I don't want to wait 6 months to a year. I want it. I want it." I get in my car. I got a phone call from Zentangle.com. There's a cancellation on Monday. Do you want it?
Nice.
It starts
Wow.
Monday.
Divine intervention.
Divine, and I get choked up every time I say that. So when I went, it was in Providence, Rhode Island. And the reason I got in out of the big, huge wait list is because Zentangle is worldwide. People fly in from all over the world to get certified, and the founders are in Whitensville, Massachusetts.
Wow, that's so interesting. A little local trivia there.
Exactly. And so when I was there, I found out that people were saying that Zentangle had helped them with their depression. It took away their fibromyalgia. It helped them get through times in the hospital when their husbands were in surgery. It has been so therapeutic for so many people. For me, it calms me down. If I'm upset and I am just upset or I'm angry, I take out my pen and paper and I start to tangle. If I am stressed out, I take it out and it calms me down. If I just am bored, if I'm at lunch and my friend is late for lunch, which has happened, I take out my sketchbook because I have a kit with me all the time in my purse, and I sit there. And I remember I was on the airplane once, and I don't fly well. I get nauseous. I just like to land. But recently I was on a flight and I was tangling, and they announced that we were about to land, and I was disappointed because I wanted to keep tangling. I'm like, no, I don't want to land yet. So do you have any other questions?
Let me think about that. You've answered a lot of my questions that I had originally. I guess a good question might be, where do people go locally to find this, and how do they find you, Jackie, to
That's
do
a
this?
wonderful question. Yeah. JackieRose.com, Jackie with an I, or rejuventangle.com. That's like rejuvenate, rejuventangle.com. I do have a meetup group, which is meetup.com/rejuventangle. And I do run classes in the area, as well as I do private parties, and I conduct retreats. I also get hired to go out to companies and businesses or clubs, organizations, or even other retreats and conferences to do this. If you are, if anyone's listening and runs conferences or retreats, this is a wonderful activity to do in the very beginning of a retreat to get everyone in the right frame of mind. It helps them to let go of everything, and it helps them to be open to all the possibilities that they're going to hear for that conference or retreat, or even a meeting. I've even got into companies where it's just wellness for your staff.
Having worked, years ago in that corporate world, I think this would be ideal, as you said at the beginning, of any meeting or any kind of conference, just to settle people on down and calm the mind. I mean, just this little bit of stuff, what we once referred to almost as doodling, it does have that meditative effect. I see my friend Sue over there. I can see her relaxing into it, and getting into it, and it's awesome. I like it.
Yes, but you did say the D word. And everybody says it in every single class. And when they first find out about Zentangle, they use the D word, which is doodling. And there's even a book called Zen Doodle, which I have.
Yes.
But in the Zentangle world, we do not use the doodle word.
And I have just learned my lesson.
But I'm glad you brought that up for that reason. And I think I'm the only one. I'm almost done here.
I think that this might be very, very good, having a child with special needs. I think this would be a great thing for special needs children as well, to allow them to focus perhaps, and yeah.
Absolutely, and it also has been proven to work with kids with ADHD,
Yes.
Who can't even pay attention, and they are able to actually complete a tile. So you are absolutely right. Anybody can do it. Okay, so how are we doing? They look fabulous. As you see, they all look very different. And now we're going to do another pattern. Okay. And so now these tiles are small because you can turn them. Okay. And even when you're doing your spirals, always remember you can turn them to get the comfortable position. So we're now going to do, this is really cool. So you pick a section. So I turn my tiles, so my spirals on my left, and I'm going to pick the section on my right. And what we're going to do is you're going to draw with your pen a kind of a cool wavy line with loops. Any way you want, doesn't matter, there's no right or wrong, just some kind of a line starting from one side of the edge to another, making loops. And and then there's a second part to this. So you're kind of doing a string within a section. But you see how we didn't have to think about how far we had to go with our little spirals, or some people like to call them cinnamon buns. But also, you don't have to stay within the lines. There's no right or wrong in Zentangle. If you want to go crazy and go out of the lines with your little string here, go for it. There's no right or wrong. And I know perfectionists are cringing. Oh, I can't go on with the lines. But I say, go for it. Go wild. Okay. So the next part is you're going to pick a section anywhere in that loop, one of the loops, and you're going to just draw an arc and then another one over it. And you're just going to fill up your loops. And actually, they don't always have to be your loops. They can also be, let's say, you can have a little corner here. You can take a corner and do the same thing. And usually in Zentangle, in my classes, you don't hear me talking the whole time. I usually stop talking and we have quiet so we can really get the meditative effect. So why don't we just do that for 10 seconds, because I know for TV you don't want to do it too long because we might lose some viewers. But if the viewers are actually tangling with us, they might really enjoy that. So why don't we just go for 10 seconds with quiet. Now, Sue and Lois, do you have any questions or comments so far? How are you feeling?
Very relaxed. I'd say the same thing too. It's kind of very interesting, especially since there's like no rules.
That's the best part.
I think it does free the mind up. Yeah, I think it does free the mind up.
agree.
Like she said, I'm not thinking about any of it, really. I'm just involved in the actual thing. My
Yeah,
mind is sort of
doing
blanking out,
it.
which is what you want.
Exactly. Exactly.
Well, I'm not sure if I just continue to fill in all of the...
Yes. So what you can
Yes.
do is you find the loops, find some corners to do it
Okay.
with.
Okay,
And
wherever you can.
Wherever you can. Yep. And go any direction you want.
Okay.
So let me tell you about a wonderful event I'm having Halloween weekend. It's going to be at the Cape at the Seacrest Resort Hotel. It's a retreat, and we are going to be tangling with ocean views, and it's so relaxing. And if anyone knows the Seacrest Resort, it's right on Old Silver Beach in Falmouth, Massachusetts, on the Cape, and when it's off season, which it is now, it is so quiet and peaceful there. And we did one in March, and it was just amazing. We were like the only ones in the hotel, and we had so excellent service, good food, but more importantly, the views were amazing. I'm going to switch pens here. Mine's not drying out. They're amazing and relaxing and fun. We got a wonderful group of people coming. And anyone can come, adults only though. Sorry, no kids allowed. And one of the reasons we do that, I mean, Zentangle is in school for kids, and there are Zentangle classes for kids. I focus on adults because it gives the adults a time away from the kids if they have kids, and also it's adult time. And there are a lot of people that, and it attracts mostly women, but we do get some men once in a while, and men are very welcome to come. But it's adult time, it's social, it's relaxing, and we just prefer to stick with adults for the classes that I do. However, with that said, if you had a private party, you want to do a kids party or a parent-child party, that is really good. Last night I took a class. There's another CZT in town, and I took a class with her, and there was a mother-daughter there, and it was wonderful to see them tangling together and the different, the similarities and the differences of their tiles. So I think that's a very nice event to do. I mostly focus on adults, though.
I do like the idea, though, of I was thinking of a children's birthday party. You know, we all go through all of the different birthday party scenarios. This is an interesting one. Could actually lend some calmness to the usual chaos of the children's birthday parties. But I think they'd really enjoy it. It would be also a little take-home, you know how you have a little take-home thing that goodie bag? You actually get to take home your art. I think this is a great way to start a birthday party, keep the kids calm and engaged, and love that idea.
Exactly, exactly. And it also makes great for a great bachelorette party, especially if it's a second wedding. The first one, maybe not. You probably want to go out and get drunk. But the second one...
Yeah, the second one's different. That's right.
However, we have done wine tangle parties and tangles with a twist. I also teach in Medway at the Medway Community Ed program, and we've done it at the Restaurant 45. We call it Tangle with a Twist. And we've
Nice. I
done
love
wine
that idea,
tangle.
too.
Yep.
It can be anything anyone is looking for, actually, Jackie.
Yes, it can.
You know?
Absolutely.
Fills a lot of different areas,
Exactly. Exactly.
just like we're filling the area in this paper pretty quickly.